We are at that point in the market where finding gems will reward you in such a big way because Bitcoin is about to put a blow off top sometime this year, and then Ethereum is going to run, and then we're going to have alts like Santa popping off. And in today's video, I'm going to explain to you guys why I think Santa is a hidden gem, and not a lot of people are talking about this. There's simply no attention to it. A lot of people have written it off simply because at the start of when this coin launched, it was a meme coin. It went up to 8 to 10 million during the hype at the end of the year last year, and then it died. But something happened. It got acquired by a pretty big name. So that's what we're going to dive into today. But first, we're going to take a look at a couple of tweets to set the groundwork so you guys can understand where this is going. So first post here is by Virtuals. Virtuals isn't an AI launchpad. It is an infrastructure for monetizing agents. And this is extremely important right here. Infrastructure for monetizing agents. I'll get into why this is important later in the video. The co-founder of Virtual says, at a growth stage, a startup should aim to spend all its resources to grow fast. Spend all your money within your expected relevant period to stay relevant and grow into escape velocity. So right here, the co-founder is saying they're basically going to throw as much money as they can at Virtuals to make sure it grows and hits escape velocity. But he also says, I don't know how to spend all our money in 6 months, meaning they have a lot of money and don't know what to do with it. Here we have a core contributor from Virtuals saying, what if agents are the NFTs of this cycle? And I tend to agree. And if you guys weren't here in 2021, NFTs were insane. They brought on a lot of people, even people who have never heard of crypto, because it was so fun and exciting. And he's suggesting that agents could be that as well. He also mentions you guys have no idea how bullish we are on embodied agents. And embodied agents are basically robotics. But more on these shills down the line. Right now, they're focused on ACP. And ACP is what Santa caters to. So here we have a developer on Santa, and he mentions that they had an idea 7 months ago at the beginning of 2025 to be a bridge, a rabbit hole linking independent agent networks to the outside world. He showed this to the co-founder of Virtuals at an event, and in our work group, we didn't know when it would become a reality. And after 7 months, only recently in July, it actually came to be. They actually achieved what they set out to do, which is creating some kind of L2 that connects with Virtuals to help facilitate independent agents to transact together. So remember how we talked about Virtuals as an infrastructure for monetizing agents? Well, they helped build that with this Quest workflow. It allows for independent agents to pay each other and transact with each other and actually transfer value from one another through the user's request, which helps strengthen the ACP framework that Virtuals has been trying to create. Now, it's important to know how Santa was able to achieve this. So I mentioned at the start that Santa was acquired by a company, and the company is Questflow right here, introducing Questflow, the orchestration layer for multi-agent economy on-chain, to build the AI agent economy for every workflow. And they raised $6.5 million. You guys can see the VCs that were included in this $6.5 million raise, which is absolutely huge because the project itself is only valued at $4.4 million currently. You guys can see it right there. And what the crazy part is, it was actually valued at 1.36. So the market is absolutely sleeping on this information. And not only that, but they were able to execute their vision within 7 months, which is unheard of in crypto. Things take a lot of time, but not these guys. These guys did it really fast. And then we have the developer here on Coinbase saying the Questflow team is on fire, continually pushing the envelope as they build orchestration layer for the growing agentic economy. And the reason I highlight this is because they've got Virtuals in contact with them. They've got a relationship with the VCs. They've got a relationship with Coinbase developers. They have a lot of networks in place to help get their work noticed. And not only that, but integrated into the Virtuals ecosystem for when the AI season does fire up. Now here you can see some of the customers they work with. They've got CoinGecko as a data aggregator, MongoDB, YieldXYZ, Virtuals, Google, Circle, which is USDC's parent company, Coinbase, OKX, Gate.io. So they work with a lot of people in the crypto industry and even outside of it. Now let's get to the chart. I don't think this is going to be hidden for too long. I think people are going to catch on as the information gets out, who's building this and why they're building it. The only reason why I think it's so cheap right now is not only because no one's talking about it, is also because Virtuals itself is in a downtrend, and nothing is going to run when Virtuals is in a downtrend, at least not in a meaningful way. There's going to be 1 or 2 projects that take off because Coinbase lists them or Brian Armstrong mentions them, like Mamo. But for the most part, unless it's got something special, it's not going to run. And I do think as Santa gets discovered more and more, it's going to pull a Mamo or a Tibber. And if you guys don't know, those projects basically ran to 60 million and 200 million. But as you guys can see between the two charts, the period where Santa ran previously was from 17th of May to 29th of May. So if we take a look at the top there, is about 25th of May. So you've got Santa here topping around the same time Virtuals did, which is why you won't see Santa running too bigly right now until virtual gets going, unless something happens that catalyzes the growth in market cap. But I do still think anything below 6 million is a steal. If we keep dipping down to about 2.5 or 2, I will be continuing to DCA into this because it seems like the market simply isn't aware as they're gambling on memes. If we just take a look at the AI sector as a whole, we can see that we haven't really put in too much green counts to the upside. Whereas if we look at something like Total DeFi down here, we can see that Total DeFi has performed exceptionally well, pushing towards the upside, breaking all-time high after all-time high for this past couple of months right here. You guys can see that. Not only that, if we take a look at memes as well, we can see that memes have also performed really well towards the upside, putting in about a 83% move to the upside. AI hasn't really done that until recently, putting in that high, but for the most part, we only moved about 40%. So AI is definitely lagging behind, but I think that's where the most money is going to be made on these low micro caps sitting at $4.5 million that can actually run in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Of course, we'll need to crack 10 million first before we get too excited. And the first targets I have are about 20 to 30. Should be easy to grab with some few catalysts. But I really do think in the next few months, as AI season blows up, we're going to see Santa be one of those coins that absolutely surprises everyone and rips to about $100 million. And here's a couple of tweets about what AIXBT has to say about Santa. If Santa follows the Tipper playbook, the percentage upside is obvious. Tipper already hit 223 market cap. Santa's still finding its legs. Momentum traders know which side of the equation pays better. So here's Tipper. He's comparing to Tipper, which ran to 250 million. Santa's still at 4.4. If we continue along the tweets, yeah, 50 million feels like the base case territory for Santa. This is bullshit. It's not going to 50 million. I love contrarian trades. I love being on the opposite side of CT. And then we have him saying Santa's about to become the backbone of agent commerce, to be honest. Orchestration layer plus ACP graduation equals insane value capture. Of course, he's adding all the other fundamental information that I shared with you guys, which includes the $6.5 million raise, the integration with Coinbase, the integration with virtuals, and he's got a lot more data than I can spit at you guys here in this video. So time will tell if Mr. Chonky is right or if Santa's going to make us generational wealth. But I do tend to side with AIXBT on this one, and I think it won't take long, a couple of months at most, for us to see Santa at $50 million. So with that said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave me some comments on what you guys would like to see next. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next one.